and Gord Downie.
Well, Gord, let's tell the story of Harry Sinden first. How's that all come up?
How does that all come up?
Yes.
You mean Harry's history in hockey?
Yeah, well, not so much that, but how your family...
Whitby Dunn. Well, my parents met him and Eleanor back when I was a baby, living in Amherst, Ontario. I think he dropped out of the hockey world at that point. And yeah, I think my mom knew Eleanor from her school days, and my parents had just gotten to Amherst outside of Kingston and knew, I don't think anybody. So they're sort of only friends or something. And when it came time to find a spiritual guide or advisor for me, which is what a godfather is supposed to be, they asked Harry and Eleanor if they would be godparents to me and my brother, Pat. And I think he's done very well at the spiritual guidance part.
He's a fascinating man. So have you spent much time talking to him?
Here and there over the years. Made the odd trip down to Boston. And yeah. And it's an amazing thing for us, the Boston Bruins, and Harry, and he's given, me and my brothers, something that we're really fortunate for, and that's just I talk to my little brother every day, and we talk about the Bruins and Boston, and we're always steadfast in our support for Harry.
What age were you when Don was there from 74 to 79?
I was 10.
So you're tough to remember then, just bits and pieces, I guess?
Well, when I had to console my little brother, the too many men on the ice penalty, and he was crying in bed. My dad had sent us to bed because he'd had enough, because we just wouldn't stop, and Pat wouldn't stop crying, and he was like, "Why, Gord? Why?" I was like, "I don't know." And I didn't know if he was asking me about, why too many men on the ice. That's a question Don would have to answer, I guess.
When everything's bleak and it's the middle of the night, he and I wander along. I talk about my missed field goal, and he talks about that. Not his fault, of course, but how about for you in your life? Did you have any sporting moments like that gave you character, toughness?
Well, I mean, that Tommy Salo goal the other day, people can't really relate to unless they are, unless they mind the blue paint, And I had one go in on me from over center once, and I swear it just dipped, like a sort of, pucks do strange things. And and you have a lot of time to watch it coming towards you, and you're saying, this isn't happening, this isn't going to happen, this could never go in, and then it's in. So that happened to me as a kid.
What was the circumstance? Was it a big game or just a game?
It was a pretty big game. It was my first year playing goal, and I was on a really stacked team, and we went 16-0, and I think I had about 14 shutouts, and I'd sort of bore my family members with my, I was really into stats, with my goals against average. It's 0.10, and whatever. So, and then in the championship game, we were, it was like the first time I actually got truly tested, and that was a goal that tied the game for this team that we were supposed to walk over. And we ended up winning 3-2.
Oh, good. I was going to ask.
But it was tense. There was another moment where my grandfather, my whole family came. We were in the All-Ontario Playdowns, and I'd come back from being quarantined with a bunch of friends. There was a diphtheria scare. Anyway, and I missed 2 games of our playoffs against East Gwillimbury, and in the third game we were up 5-0 going into the third period, and then and my grandfather was there. It was big, and the whole family was there Sunday afternoon, and it was 5-1, 5-2, 5-3, 5-4, 5-5, 6-5. And I smashed my stick over the crossbar at 6-5 and was pulled. And, Jimmy Anderson, the president of the league, came into the room to tell me how ashamed he was on behalf of the entire organization. And my dad was bummed because goalie sticks cost a lot of money.
I did the same thing to a referee I loved over the crossbar, not at him, but just frustrated at a call, team captain, and I don't know what age I'd have been, 14, you're probably about the same. And what is it about us when we're that age, and have you changed? Have you mellowed considerably, or do you think you're still as intense about being a perfectionist?
Oh, well, yeah, I don't think you ever lose that. I think I'm kind of aware of all that stuff, and really I try to be vigilant. I play with some guys in my neighborhood where the rule is you have to be from our neighborhood and have a pulse. But men playing hockey go weird, Maybe it is a kid's game, I don't know. But so I'm very vigilant about, maintaining throwing the sticks in the middle, and not allowing teams to form. And although it does give me a chance to work on my comedy routine, sort of saying to defensemen, you know, like you should charge admission to the crease, you'd make a killing, or when he asked, was I screening you, I say, no, I was screening you, stuff like that.
I'd love to ask you so many things, but the Kingston thing is a big part of the games because you're here. It's such a Canadian night tonight. You know, I don't have to tell you, you're like Don Cherry to a lot of these athletes who are here and the guests. What does it mean to you, I guess, first of all, to be at the Winter Games and sort of share a Canadian moment? If that's not getting too patriotic, how do you feel about that? It sounds like a beautiful thing, but sometimes I wonder.
Well, I mean, I was at the game yesterday watching them play Belarus, and, you know, I sort of was, you know, struck by the fact that Al McInnes was knocked into the boards, and all you could hear was a stick go, pook. And I realized that was the only kind of expression that was coming from the ice, you know, and you realize on that side of the glass, the game is pretty much silent. You know, it's pretty darn quiet. And there's, you know, we add all the color and everything else to it. And I just thought, you know, I've been, having a lot of thoughts about it in terms of, you know, when I look at these athletes and stuff, and I think that we kind of, rather than it being about Canadians, it's sort of all, you know, at risk of sounding too maudlin, but, you know, this Nordic culture, and the thing that a lot of these nations hold in common is that we're all, you know, winter fighters. We all have to either go face into it or try to avoid it. But, you know, I think ultimately, yeah, it's part of anyone, you know, Nordic culture, people that, you know, reminds them when they're small and the silence, you know, the quiet of winter nights. And
they sure are caged in there, aren't they? And it's so understated, and as you say, so tough. I mean, be it Solani or whomever, I mean, you're paying those unbelievable prices.
Yeah.
How about for you, lead singer is no easier, goaltender and lead singer. You've picked a couple of tough tasks for yourself. How do they compare, rock and hockey?
Rock and hockey? Well, yeah, I mean, well, you could ask different guys in the band, but I consider goaltending, like Jacques Plante, the most noble position in all of sports. And, yeah, lead singing would probably be, although, you know, being a drummer is pretty darn noble, too. Yeah. Yeah,
you got to have a pulse, but it's what you do with it next, and that singer doesn't have much protection.
Right.
Goalie, I guess that's why you wore so much equipment when you played. I didn't get to mention Jana Hefford, of course, when I was on that Kingston track. Tell me about, do you sponsor the team that she plays for in Kingston, or have you been involved?
We have been involved sponsoring 2 girls' teams, the Kingston Kodiaks, for I don't know how long now. And I'm not sure if Jana was, she was definitely a Kingston Kodiak, but she might have been just before our time. But we feel, you know, not a slight bit of pride when we see her. And not only because she's awesome, you know, but yeah, sponsor the Kingston Kodiaks and really love girls hockey and women's hockey, and went to the World Championships out in Mississauga.
She did it again.
Where Jana tied the, I mean, got the team back in the game and then tied the game. I mean, all she does is score winning goals, this girl. And she's really great, really, yeah, she's my hero.
Who do you see emerging tomorrow? Imagine somebody's going to score a big goal, either an American or a Canadian, in a game that everybody's just so jacked up about. How do you see the game?
Yeah, well, I saw the American-Russian game yesterday, and it seemed like you said, the team that was willing to pay the price was going to emerge. It was really fast and hard-hitting, seemingly to me, but I think it comes down to defense, and I think Canada's got it, you know, but that's a formidable foe with 6,000 or 7,000 formidable fans, you know. The USA chant is formidable.
Well, it's no springtime in Vienna.
Right. Yeah.
Or poets, or, oh no. Hey, Gord, for Gordie Sinclair, for Paul Langlois, for Bobby Baker, and Johnny Fay, of course, congratulations on being a big part of what the Canadian athletes got to experience here.
Well, it's all our pleasure.